Hey, thanks for clicking on this video. It does mean a lot to me, and I really mean that. This is my first ever video. It was always a dream of mine as a kid to post videos. Um, this, you're gonna watch this video, I hope, but you're gonna see towards the start, I really don't know what I'm doing, and I'm kind of slow, and I take a lot of pauses, and I'm kind of uncomfortable in front of the camera. As I continue and go further in the video, it does get better, I promise. You just have to stick with it. I plan to be pushing out content on the regular if I can, as as regularly as I can with the type of content I plan to be posting. Um, I might be doing some variety outside of rockhounding and rock stuff. We'll see. If I do if I do variety content, it will probably be gaming, just playing games with my friends, or maybe I'll post I don't know, photography editing, something like that. Knitting. I don't, no clue. But anyways, thank you for clicking on this video. Watch it all the way through. Consider hitting the like button, subscribing, whatever you feel like. Honestly, actually, report this video. Just report me. Just first video, get me banned. Okay? Just get me banned from this app. I beg of you. Anyways, thank you. Hey, welcome to the channel. My name's Logan. I've never really done YouTube or shown any interest in it before. I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, but never once do I consider sitting in front of a camera and talking. So what I want to do today is kind of tell you what this channel's about. I'm a rock hounder. I love all things to do with rocks, and recently I've picked up the hobby of faceting. And my main goal is to
blow up and then act like I don't know nobody.
go from a beginner faceter like I am right now and kind of grow and learn and share my experience as I learn and grow and overcome challenges and hardcomings along with you in a little YouTube series. And I'll be able to look back, see what I've done wrong, how I can improve, things like that. And also, the people in my life can just watch this instead of asking me every single little thing about what I'm doing. I want to get into what you should come to expect from this channel. So with this video, I plan to show you my setup, some of my rocks I've collected, my favorite rocks, and what some projects you should expect to be coming through the work soon, if I ever get around to them. And I'll try and just give you a general vibe and layout of what these videos will be like on this channel. Although I've never done YouTube before, so I'm learning as I go. And to start this setup tour, I'm gonna get the most interesting thing here out of the way. My tripod. You're gonna screw onto that little peg right there in a second. And now you're on my tripod. So, I'll continue the setup tour of my room with, first and foremost, the most important part of my setup, my PC. The only real interesting thing here is GemCAD, which is a software that I can use in order to design my own faceting setups, which is pretty cool. I am still on the free trial, and I'm debating whether or not I'm gonna get the full version, because it is $100, and that's a lot of doubloons. Yeah, this is my dopping station right here. That's my microphone right there. It's my dopping station. That's my whiteboard full of my to-do list. This is my hot pot with dop wax in it. These are my dopping rods, which sit right into my manipulator arm for my faceting machine. These are some of my projects. I'll get into it once we get later in the video. Some more rocks lying around. Very important, a headlamp. I use this a lot when I'm faceting, so you will be seeing that a lot. You'll probably get sick and tired of it, if I'm being honest. Also, if you see me like looking off at my computer, I promise I'm not reading off a script or anything. I'm really distracted with the fact that I can see myself moving and talking on the screen while I'm looking at the camera. It's hard to focus. Anyways, ADHD yapping aside, and this is the final bit of the setup in my room. This right here is a pair of family heirloom calipers that are very accurate to the 100,000th, I believe. This is a little journal I've been using to design facets. Dop wax, green dop wax, red dop wax. Haven't used the red one yet, only used the green, that's what you saw. Yeah, the dot pot. Cotton balls, Sharpies galore for marking up faceted edges, and super glue for when I want to use super glue for dopping. And a very jank drawer. So yeah, that's my room setup. No room tour yet, unfortunately. I'm not giving you my tour, creeps. So yeah, and next I'll be showing you my machinery and my actual gear. Yes, sudden outfit change. Fuck you. What, are you gonna sue me? So what, I took several days to record this. It's my first video. Cut me some fucking slack. Anyways, before I get into the tour of my gear, I want to start this by saying this is my digital camera. It's not a video camera. However, I will be using it as a video camera today. So if there's a noticeable step off in quality, or if there's like lagging or really bad audio, I'll probably go over the audio and voiceover after. But if the camera quality is really bad, I just won't use it at all and I'll have to re-record it on my phone. But you wouldn't know that, so we'll see. So yeah, let's get into the gear setup tour. So, welcome to the backyard. This is where I do most of my rock stuff. You'll see next to me is my I'm not pronouncing that right, but it's Fly Evergo. You can see it right there. This is my grinding disc. But before I start talking about my gear and my polishing gear, I want to get into the most important part of any rock setup: safety gear. Eyes, ears, and most importantly, lungs. You want to protect your lungs. When you're working with any type of rock that you're grinding, odds are there's silica dust that's going to be being released into the air, and you do not want silicosis. Silicosis will catch up on you and sneak up on you later in life. If you don't have a respirator like I do, because I lucked out and my old job gave me a respirator for free, a dust mask works just fine. Just make sure you're wearing a mask that prevents silica dust or any type of dust from entering your lungs, because it could cause damage later on in life. So, with that out of the way, I'll set these aside. This is my faceting setup. This is my manipulator arm. The dop sticks that I showed you earlier go into this, they screw in. I use this protractor to set angles, I use this index wheel to change what degree I'm at, and then I turn this on. I'll plug it in to give a demonstration. Anyways, so how this machine works, this is a water spout. I turn it on while it's running, and it drips water onto this. This spins very fast at high RPMs to chip away at the rock. Not chip, grind away. These are called laps. Different laps have different grits. It's basically like metal sandpaper. Inside of this box here, you'll notice my setup is very jerry-rigged. We don't talk about it. Inside of here, we can find my different laps. Currently, I have a 320 on there, but it goes all the way up to, currently in my setup, it goes up to 8,000, but I'm hoping to get it to 14,000 grit to get a nice mirror finish. Some of you at home, I'm speaking gibberish to, but that's okay. One or two of you will understand what I'm saying, and that's enough. So yeah, this is my faceting machine, and I'm very proud of it. Alright, now this is the downstairs portion. I apologize, the audio might be a little bad right now. There's an AC fan going off right behind the camera. But this is my 7-inch tile saw. You'll notice the blade doesn't actually stick out to 7 inches, it sticks out about 2 inches. So it's very limited on what I can cut with it. I want to get a trim saw eventually, but right now I can't afford it. So this is what I use to cut my rocks. It's very nice. I'll throw up a video of me using it so you can see it in action right now. And then this right here, I would have set this up on the table upstairs, but there wasn't enough room for my faceting machine on there. This is my drummer. I use this for lots of things. as of late, it's mostly carving and metalwork. I have some, I'll show you here. I have some rock carving bits and some drill bits that drill through rock. This is my trusty wrench that changes out the Dremel bit. And then these right here are sandpaper bits. They go all the way up to, I believe, 60,000 grit. So I use this when I'm getting a mirror polish on an uneven surface that I can't use my faceting machine or polish by hand. And these are for metal polishing, which you might see a couple metal polishing videos coming soon. I have a couple of things in the works that should be pretty cool when they're done. But yeah, that was my setup tour. I hope you enjoyed. Okay, so I want to start with some of my littler stuff. First, I want to show you personally one of my favorite pieces that I've collected. This right here is some jasper of different colors. It might be some plume agate. I'm not sure. I'm not a real expert at identifying rocks yet, but it is very pretty. I can't really. It's a lot of browns and light browns and some pinks. And if I flip it this way, you can't really see because it's not wet. I'll little tip for you. There you are. Some reds and some greens, and still got that tans and browns up here at the top, but a lot more greens. And personally, this is why it's my favorite piece. Those are two of the sides right there, but if you flip it over to the top, you can see it has angel wing agate at the top, a very nice orange angel wing agate, and it's beautiful. Look at that. It almost looks like fish eggs. It's just this little dome. It's so pretty. Next, I'll show you a pretty cool piece. This show is a good example of how I believe what I believe is a good example of rocks that are formed inside of the matrix. If you know what the matrix is, it's the loose, unidentifiable mix of material that surrounds the cool parts of rocks that we care about, you know? So, like, if you see a really cool, like, piece of quartz, but around it is a bunch of basalt, the basalt is called the matrix. So, this is two pieces of jasper, and in this piece, the jasper is the matrix. It's brownish red and white jasper, kind of in a cool galaxy formation. And I'll try and get this focused well on this. This piece isn't as polished as well. I'll show its other half, but it has little pockets of agate throughout it. There's a little one right there. There's a little one right there too. And it's different types of agate. That's why I love this piece so much. It has a bunch of different kinds of agate in it. So I'll show this one because it's better polished. So this right here, I'll show up a better photo of this on screen. But this is gravitationally banded agate, which means that slowly over the course of millions of years while this was forming, it was positioned exactly like this. And as the lava or the hot, mix of liquid rocks that form this cooled over the course of millions of years, gravity pulled down the silica as it was forming, and it formed these perfect little vertical stripes that almost look like pinstripes. Right here, you can see that little pocket of agate is actually some moss agate. That right there is some regular agate, and other cool bits and pieces. I think that right there is some more moss agate. And I believe there's some plume agate somewhere on this. I might throw up a photo on here if I find it when I'm taking the more clear photos. But yes, these two pieces are some of my favorite because it's a really good example of how things form, how rocks form together, and how minerals crystallize together. And it also is just beautiful. This next piece I'm going to show you, I originally thought it was agate, but this is some blue chalcedony I got from Rock Creek in Skamania. It's beautiful. It is, to date, the biggest piece of chalcedony I've collected. If you're wondering why it's polished, all lumpy and stuff, this was polished in my rock polisher back when I still had that, but it's beautiful. I do not have a carat scale, so I do not know how much this weighs, but I'm trying to think of what to do with this, because I could just leave it like this, a beautiful polished piece, but I'm kind of considering, I kind of want to either carve it into something cool, or I might facet it into something and break it up into little chunks, maybe turn it into like a necklace or something. I don't know. Sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think I should do with it, and I might consider your idea if it's not dog shit. So let me know. These next pieces I'm going to show you are called agate. So my camera might not pick this up very well. This is very rare. It's found in only a few places in the world. This is from Short Beach in Tillamook. It's these little tiny, if it'll focus. There we are. It wouldn't do this yesterday for me. It's these little tiny black crystals that are very fragile. That's what it looks like. Isn't that beautiful? And I have a ton of them here, but that's probably the best formed one. I'll show some photos of some of my favorites to show kind of like the variety. And I have a piece of it that's on the matrix, so I'll throw a photo of that up so you can kind of see how it forms. Most of the pieces I collected were kind of just found in dirt. Like you just dig around in the dirt and then they just roll down the hill and you chase after them. Which is kind of dangerous because these are very, very fragile pieces. I mean, I'll show you some pictures of the dust, but they just destroy themselves just existing. These are what's left of my already tumbled pieces from back when I had a rock tumbler. A lot of pieces of jasper, chalcedony, and agate are littered throughout it, and some loose pieces of quartz too. There's a lot of pieces here, and I do believe I even have more just scattered about, but I don't have time to show you all those today. I could in another video. Just let me know if that's something you're interested in. I'll happily do it. So let me start with some of my other big stuff. This is a pretty cool piece. This was previously my, oh, don't want to destroy it. This was previously my biggest find when it came to rock hounding. I got this from Rock Creek in Skamania. This is mordenite. I'm not sure if it's focusing, but I'll put a better photo up on camera. It forms in little cavities within the salt, and it's littered with thousands and thousands of microscopic needles. It's chemically almost identical to arsenic. The only difference is it's missing an iron molecule. So you do not want to break off the needles and inhale it, and it's also slightly radioactive. Only slightly less than a banana, which I think is kind of cool. This right here is a large chunk of jasper. It is mostly oranges and yellows. Originally I was planning on just polishing the entire thing. You can kind of see I kind of started on this side, but I haven't done anything on this side. Now that I have a faceting machine and I have rock carving bits, I'm kind of considering breaking it up or like turning it into a cool carving. I'm not quite sure. I got this from the Jasper thundereggs in Bend. I don't remember the exact name. I think it was like white agate beds or whatever. I'll throw up the location on video probably. This next piece was also from that. This is a giant thunderegg made of rhodonite, and inside the thunderegg is little tiny pockets of white jasper. You can't see because it's not polished yet because it's a bitch to polish, but the rhodonite has pinks and purples throughout it, so it's going to look very beautiful once it's polished. I'm going to set this down. And on the other half of that thunderegg, I cut it into a right angle. My plan is to polish these, cut them right here, and they'll be bookends. So be on the lookout for that as a video, because that'll be a pretty cool video once it's out. But the issue is these are a bitch to polish. They're too big for me to polish on my machine, so I have to get these in a bucket of water with sandpaper on the bottom and do little circles like this for hours and hours. And it's usually not that big of a problem, but when it's a big rock like this, it fucking sucks. Alright, now I'll get into showing you my big rocks, my really cool pieces. I keep them outside in here because I have no room in my house. I'm going to take off my rings so I don't scratch them. So I'll show you a few things first. These right here are some uncut thundereggs I got from Polka Dot Agate Mines. You can see they're very lumpy. You can see some crystallizations right there and there. I still need to cut them. I need to rent a saw big enough to cut them, but I'm waiting to rent a saw big enough to cut them because I have this beauty. Whew. This is also a thunderegg. This thing weighs about 30 to 40 pounds. I'm not quite sure. Haven't weighed it. It is a conglomeration of about 4 or 5 thundereggs, also from Polka Dot Agate Mines in Bend. I think it's Bend. It might be Pendleton. I don't quite remember. But I'm trying to find a saw big enough to cut this. You will see a video of me cutting this and showing what's inside as soon as I can. But until then, it's just sitting out here. I have also more little pieces of uncut, unpolished lily pad jasper. This is what it looks like when it's unpolished. It's kind of cool. You can kind of see where it comes from. I'll throw up a polished image so you can have a side-by-side comparison. This is another thunderegg from polka dot agate mines that's slightly opened. You can kind of see the bichorial agate in there. So it's a nice little peek into what we might get in that really big one. Alright. I might need to take a deep breath for this next one. I'll throw up a video of me acquiring this and the struggle I went through with this. But, well, it's not as heavy as I remember. This is a giant boulder that is littered with jasper all around it. You'd see some red jasper there, some green jasper there. There's just a little bits of jasper all around the boulder that I've been slowly breaking off and putting, well, I was putting in my rock tumbler back when I had a rock tumbler, but I no longer have one. Beautiful area. Lovely. Been out here in the boiling sun for a few hours. Fucking sunburned to shit. Blisters all over my hands. And a giant fucking boulder that I have to roll a quarter of a mile to my car. Like fucking Sisyphus, bro. It's about 100 pounds. Oh gosh. Fucking sucks. So yeah, those are some of my big rocks, the interesting ones at least. I'll throw up some photos of the polished stones from that big boulder of jasper so you can kind of see what it looks like, because it's very unassuming when you look at it. But if I show you some of the polished pieces, you'll kind of understand why I collected it. But yeah, that is my big rocks. Hey, it's me again. I know you just saw me, but it's been about a day since I recorded anything. And now, I've pretty much finished editing, except for this clip right here that I'm recording, obviously. Schrodinger's edit, I guess. But, also, don't point out the fact that I'm wearing a hair bonnet. I just got out of the shower, okay? God forbid a man put in a hair mask to make his hair look healthy, okay? Leave me alone. Anyways, that was my video. I hope you enjoyed getting to know a little bit about me, a little bit about this hobby and the craft of rockhounding and faceting. I hope you enjoyed the video. I really do hope you learned something new, and I hope at some point I made you giggle, even if it was just my dumb facial expressions or mannerisms, not even the dumb little jokes I put in it. Hey, that'd be a win for me. I'm curious, let me know down in the comments if you feel like it. I want to know which rock was your favorite out of all the ones I showed you here today. And honestly, while you're at it, if you have a favorite mineral or a favorite crystal or gemstone, throw that in there too. I'm curious. I'm always looking for new gems or stones to go look for. So I'd love some recommendations. Personally, my favorite from what I showed you today was that lily pad jasper. That's my favorite. But anyways, I'm not really good at these outros. You know, like I said, it's my first YouTube video. So, see ya, I guess. Shout out dudes named Henry. If your name is Henry, this one's for you.